The court will take judicial notice of the contents of its file, and if the court can have announcements.
Ursula Rushton Columbus for the department, ready.
Sarah Ladd for the child, I'm ready.
The court will note that Ms. McLean, the mother of the child, is present, as well as Michael Hilt, the father of the child, is present. And also present are CASA, the CASA supervisor, as well as the CASA volunteer. Ms. Rush, you may proceed.
Department calls Stanell Columbus. In that capacity, did you on or about May 3rd, 2023, file a permanency report to the court?
Yes.
Are there any additions or corrections?
I have got drug screen results since I have filed this court report and a few appointment updates that both parents have made with some providers.
Let's start with the mother. What additions do you have for the mother?
Both of her drug screens came back negative.
Anything else?
She has an appointment for counselor to start counseling on June 1st.
Is that Ms. Marsh?
Yes.
Okay, anything else?
And then she has a substance abuse appointment on May 25th.
And is that to get into a outpatient, or is that for something else?
That's just for the substance abuse assessment. She is wanting to do outpatient through them. So depending on their recommendations.
But that's the actual assessment. It's not the appointment to get into it, right?
No, it's just the assessment.
Any other additions or corrections regarding Ms. McLean?
No.
Okay, so let us turn to Mr. Hilt. What additions or corrections do you have for Mr. Hilt?
His first appointment with Ms. Marsh for counseling is on June 7th.
And what else?
His drug screen results came back. I got them late last night. Hair follicle was positive for marijuana and codeine.
Wait, marijuana and what?
Codeine.
Okay.
His alcohol test was positive.
Do you have a number?
ETG was 17,176.
And the alcohol test was at a UA?
Yes.
Okay. And the marijuana and codeine, was that from the UA or the hair?
That's the hair.
Okay. Did he have any positive on the UA from May 3rd, 2023?
The UA was positive for codeine, morphine. And I'm probably going to spell this because I don't know how to say it right. OXAZEPAM.
Can you tell me what that is?
No, I just got this stuff came in late last night, so I looked it up, and it's and that medication is for detoxing, helping withdrawals from alcohol.
Okay, so I want to make sure I got this right. On May 3rd, he had a drug that you believe treats, according to Google, acute alcohol withdrawal, plus he also had an alcohol in his system.
Yes.
Has he produced a prescription for codeine or morphine or the oxazepam?
No.
Has he told you if he has one and he hasn't produced it?
No.
Has he told you if he's been going to a doctor to get one?
No.
Okay. Any other additions or corrections? For Mr. Hilt?
No. He had a mental health assessment on April 28th.
And that was with MHMR, correct?
Yes.
And you filed that, I believe, on the 15th of this month. Does that sound right?
Yes.
And under the summary and recommendations, individual counseling, including abuse history, parenting and or individual on appropriate parenting, alcohol and substance abuse treatment, intensive outpatient, random drug screening, and consultation regarding pharmacological intervention. Does that sound right?
On his psychological or his mental health? I filed all three the same day.
Ms. Noro, can you text Ms. Rush and tell her we believe she's frozen? Or she's very intensely looking at a document, one or the other. And with Ms. Rush, it could be either. So
we just discussed that you filed we were talking about the MHMR, I'm sorry, evaluation. And you filed it on May 15th, correct?
Yes.
And are you aware that it says that His diagnoses is alcohol use disorder severe, cannabis use disorder severe, cocaine use disorder mild, sedative, hypnotic, or anxiolytic use disorder severe, and then tobacco use severe.
Yes.
Has he done anything to check himself into inpatient or outpatient based upon his multiple drug use issues?
No.
Okay. He also did complete Graham Psychological, and they also talk about his substance abuse history, right?
Yes.
They're recommending intensive outpatient, and according to them, he's told them he is currently participating in an intensive outpatient. Is that true?
He was at the time.
And that would have been in 2021 under the previous case.
Yes.
Based upon all of this, are you recommending he undergo another substance abuse assessment after we got the most recent drug tests showing that not only does he have multiple drugs, he's also not only drinking, he's taking a drug to keep him from drinking, which sounds really dangerous.
Yes.
Okay. Previously, inpatient was recommended and he chose outpatient. Would you agree with me that's not working?
Yes.
Are there any other additions or corrections?
No.
To Mr. Hill. Okay, so now let's talk about the child. Okay.
Okay.
They're not so much additions or corrections, but clarifications. Does that sound fair?
Yes.
Okay. So Mackenzie is at the ranch. Is that correct?
Yes.
And she doesn't think she should be there, right?
That is correct.
Are you having some concerns about her at the ranch?
Yes.
Has that had to do with the fact that she doesn't seem to be progressing and she's getting into what they call incidents?
Yes.
Have you and Ms. Navarez worked at setting up an appointment with the head of the ranch to discuss your concerns?
Yes.
If by some chance they cannot fix their concerns, are you and the department to engage looking at requesting a move?
Yes.
Would it be to another RTC?
Yes.
Okay. In fact, have you spoken to Mr. Hilt and Ms. McLean, and they have voiced their concerns that Mackenzie needs to remain in an RTC? They just don't think this is the right one.
Yes.
Is that fair? Is that a fair way to put that?
Yes.
The court did not order a new psychological because Mr. Hilt had taken one in August of 2021 in the previous case. Based upon the changes you've noted in your report, the problems in his marriage, his unemployment, his continued and additional drug use, are you asking this court to order a new psychological with Graham Psychological?
Yes.
Do you think that's necessary to see exactly what Mr. Hilt needs in order to successfully complete his services?
Yes.
Okay. Miss McLean is still living with, I believe it's a Miss Murphy and a Mr. Beasley. Is that correct?
Yes.
And am I also correct that they both have histories of convictions for substance abuses, and they both have CPS history?
Yes.
Now Miss McLean's looking for a place to live, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you've talked to her about that?
Yes.
Do you actually know where Mr. Hilt is living?
No.
Has he told you he's basically homeless or couch surfing or whatever?
Yes.
Do you believe based upon Mackenzie's issues, Miss McLean living in a place that is not appropriate for Mackenzie, Mr. Hilt being homeless, still indulging in a variety of drugs and alcohol, that returning to either parent would constitute a continuing danger?
Yes.
Based upon your report, which indicates what both parents have and have not done, are you asking the court to find that neither parent is in compliance?
Yes.
Now, I know that Miss McLean, frankly, has done a lot more than Mr. Hilt. Is that a fair way to put that?
Yes.
However, Miss McLean has a history of drug use. Is that correct?
Yes.
Do you have a concern regarding her? I'm looking for the way you put it. I'm sorry, but it's kind of like her lack of sobriety plan. Is that the way you put it?
I cannot recall my exact wording, but yes, I mean, she doesn't have a recovery plan.
That's it. Recovery plan. And is that a concern?
Yes, she did tell me, like I said, she did make an appointment to do a drug screen assessment with MHMR. So we're hoping to get that fixed.
But she's not been going to NA or AA, which is totally free and doesn't need a referral, right?
That's correct.
Then there's also the issue of an inappropriate home, right?
Yes.
Would you agree with me that the department, frankly, will never return to Ms. McLean as long as she is living with those people?
Yes.
And would you also agree with me that the department will not feel comfortable and will probably not ask the court to return to Ms. McLean until there is some proof that she has a plan to remain clean and sober?
Yes.
As far as Mr. Hilt, he has a real long way to come before the department ever places with him again. Is that fair?
Yes.
And are you including in your comments about Mr. Hilt the fact that after the last case, we discovered he and his wife had lied during the monitored return?
Yes.
Okay. Are you asking the court to continue the department as temporary managing conservator to find that Mackenzie's current placement is the least restrictive and she needs to remain in an RTC, that the medicine that she is currently being prescribed is appropriate, that the same educational and medical consenters be continued, that neither parent is in compliance, that the visitation plans remain in effect, as well as the family service plans, which you have recently amended as to Ms. McLean. Did you amend this to Mr. Hilt?
I'm working on it.
Okay. And that this court set this for a permanency on September 6th, 2023 at 9:30 a.m. And that the court also set a date for a final prior to November 20th, 2023.
Yes.
Is there anything else about Mackenzie this court needs to know before I pass you?
No.
I'll pass the witness.
Ms. McLean, do you have any questions for Ms. Columbus?
I just want to know, I'm so sorry. I have been compliant. I don't understand how I haven't been compliant. I'm doing absolutely everything.
Objection, that's not a question, Your Honor.
Ms. Columbus, can you answer why she has not been compliant?
You have not completed all or even began some of your service plan. So your family plan of services is what we discuss each time we visit.
I did my parenting classes, the psychological.
Just wait, Ms. McLean, this is a time just for questions.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Do you have any questions for Ms. Columbus? I'll give you a chance to tell me what you want to tell me in a moment.
No, ma'am.
Mr. Hilt, do you have any questions for Ms. Columbus?
Yes. I was wondering if, since and how I did eventually go do that drug screen, am I going to be able to have monitored phone calls with Mackenzie?
Yes, that was part of the agreement, is after you actually did a baseline drug screen that we could set up a phone call.
Right. Okay.
I got those results last night, so
I do have prescriptions for the codeine.
Okay, just same thing I'm going to tell you, Mr. Hilt, as I told Ms. McLean. This is a time for questions for Ms. Columbus. I'll give you a time to tell me what you want to tell me in a narrative in a moment.
Okay, that was about all I have. I mean, I've already talked to Ms. Columbus about everything else, pretty much.
Thank you. Ms. Ladd, do you have any questions?
Just when is your meeting with the people at the ranch about your concerns?
We haven't received a date yet. We've reached out to them, but they have not responded. But I will let you know.
Okay. In addition to the incidents that Mackenzie's been having, what are your other concerns with the ranch?
My main one is lack of supervision. I feel like she's had access to make phone calls that she was not supposed to make. They were under the assumption that she was calling me daily, and that's not the case. I've also heard from CASA that she says she's calling them when she hasn't. So I believe she's telling the ranch staff that she's calling us and then actually calling her mother or father when she's not supposed to.
I'll pass the witness.
Ms. Columbus, in your report, you indicated that Mackenzie had been diagnosed with asthma.
Yes.
And she had been prescribed an inhaler, and you did not know if she had received that inhaler. Do you have an update on that?
It's the last I've heard, they're still working on it. I have not got confirmation of that. She's had a change
working on that.
I asked the previous case manager, and then there is now a new case manager that is trying to get up to speed on the case.
Okay. Let me make sure I understand what you're telling me. This child who is in the care of the department received a inhaler as a medication. And how long has she, and she does not have that medication?
That is my understanding. She received the inhaler when she was on her monitor return and has not had it refilled since then. I'm not sure when she ran out. I know that she's been requesting it, and I've been requesting it since February.
And when did you reach out to the ranch to initiate this meeting?
We've tried several times. The most recent one.
I'm interested in the first time.
I don't know the exact date on that. I'd have to look back.
I will wait.
I know May 9th was the first that I can see where we were trying to set a formal meeting between CMD and the ranch staff and Nora and myself. Before that, I had several contacts with her case managers and her therapist trying to resolve my concerns.
And when did you first start that? The informal? While Ms. Columbus is looking at that, I'm hearing a train whistle.
Yes, ma'am. I'm so sorry.
Is anyone in the line on a train track that needs to move?
Yes, it's a train and an airplane. I'm sorry.
Okay, but you're not on the track, so you're safe, correct?
Yes, I'm in my house now.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. I know Casa's in the car too, so I just wanted to make sure they were safe as well.
Did you say a train hit an air track?
No, she said there's a train sound and an airplane passing at the same time.
Oh, okay. They were like colliding. I'm like, oh, wow.
I think that is the theme of a Sharknado movie, though. Ms. Columbus, do you have that information?
April 4th was the first time that I started really voicing my concerns and asking questions with the case manager and the therapist to try to get clarification on concerns I was beginning to have.
And were they responsive?
No, not particularly.
Thank you. Ms. Rush?
I just want to clear up. When you said there was a new case manager, you meant at the ranch, not a new case manager with to engage, right?
Yes. She's recently had a new case manager.
Pass the witness.
Ms. McLean, any questions for Ms. Columbus?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Hilt, any questions for Ms. Columbus?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. Ms. Ladd, anything further?
Did anyone at the ranch ever respond to your email on April 28th asking about Mackenzie's inhaler?
I'm looking real quick and I'm not seeing that anybody responded to that particular email.
Okay. And on that same day, Mackenzie had reported that there was an appointment to get her a new inhaler. Do you know if that ever happened?
I have not got confirmation of that. I've asked for medical, all medical documentation, incident reports, therapy sessions. I've received some of it, but not all of it as of yet.
Okay, I'll pass the witness.
Ms. Rush, you may call your next witness.
Department rests.
Ms. McLean, do you have any witnesses at this time?
Okay.
I was getting concerned about the train and the airplane. Do you have any witnesses at this time?
No.
Okay, this is your time to tell me what you would like to tell me.
Okay.
Very briefly.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I have finished my parenting classes, and the only reason why I couldn't start the actual drug assessment was because it also was on a Tuesday at the same time. Anyway, so I went yesterday to go do the drug assessment because I had actually did it like about a month ago. I can't remember, May something. Well, anyway, so they gave me a new lady. Her name was Tammy, and I had it set for yesterday. Well, I showed up 2 hours late, and I guess I had all my time. I don't know what I did wrong. Well, anyway, so I do have to do another drug assessment, but they said I will be able to get into the classes. I did my psychological. I am seeing the doctors. And I just want to be able to talk to my daughter and see my daughter a little bit more, because I was doing that there for a while. I was actually talking to her every single day, and she was not getting in any trouble. And then they ripped all the phone calls away, because I was actually able to call her every day. And then they stopped it all.
And when was the last time you had a telephone call or contact with your daughter?
Every Tuesday. And that is the only time I get, is only on Tuesdays.
Okay. Thank you. Is there anything else you need to tell me, ma'am?
Oh, I'm working, and I think I found me a place at LaDonna Apartments. And where I am living, my mother, she has had a drug addiction problem in her past, but that's in her past. And my grandfather, he's 82 years old. He has dementia.
Okay, I will note that we have now lost Mr. Hilt.
At least it's not just me today. It's everybody.
So,
I am working 40 hours a week. I'm fixing to start at a new store, fresh, brand new at this new store. I'm trying.
Where are you working?
I work at United in the seafood department.
Which one?
Next week Monday I start at the new one, which is, and I'm in the seafood department.
Miss Ladd. Okay, thank you, Miss McLean. Miss Ladd, do you have any witnesses at this time?
No, Your Honor.
And we have now lost Miss Columbus. I think they may have had an Agatha Christie movie on this.
And then there were none.
So I think we might need to speak as fast as we can. Miss Ladd, did you have any recommendations or any witnesses at this time?
I don't have any witnesses. My recommendation would be to continue the department as managing conservator. Mackenzie's not doing well in her placement. I'd like to see her moved. She wants to be moved. She's not making any progress there.
Miss Linda, do you have anything you would like the court to know?
Oh, yes, Your Honor, I do. First of all, I'll be as brief as I can. Mackenzie does have her inhaler, and she did get birth control. The inhaler she's had about a month, and the birth control has been like in the last week and a half or so, I think. I think she's having a serious problems at the ranch, and I really believe she needs to be moved. For one thing, she has no therapy now at all, because she only had 1 hour a week with her therapist, and now that therapist is monitoring the phone call with the mom instead of doing therapy. So she has no therapy there. I don't think she has just behavior problems. She has been diagnosed with serious mental illness, and I think it's getting worse. She's becoming more and more violent. She's like just 3 weeks ago, I guess, she had an episode where they evacuated the building because she was breaking the furniture and breaking computers and things. And they evacuated and left her alone inside the house. She called me, and I had to tell her to sit down and be still until they came back. And she was hysterical, just hysterical. She doesn't know why she does these things. She's sorry she does them. But
okay,
she
just
can't help herself.
You tell me that that you don't believe this is an appropriate placement. Is there anything else that you need to bring to my attention?
No, I think that's everything.
Thank you for updating me on the medication. I certainly appreciate that. Mr. Hilt, we lost you for a moment. Glad to know you were not hit by the train. And so do you have any witnesses at this time?
No, ma'am, I don't have any witnesses.
Do you have anything you would like to tell me briefly?
Yes, ma'am. I do have a prescription for the codeine, which I'm not taking anymore. The medication that helps with alcohol withdrawals, that's also an old medication, but I was trying to take those to quit drinking on my own. And I don't know, stress or whatever, I quit taking them and drank again. The morphine, I have no idea how that got there. There was one night that I thought I got drugged. But now I know what it was. But another thing is Mackenzie did call me one time from the house, from the where she stays. And I was like, I don't want to get you in trouble. So I never tried to contact her or keep calling her. So, and I mean, but I think that the placement that she's in, she's not going to benefit from it. I don't believe that when she tells you that she don't know what she's doing, she knows what she's doing. She wants to leave. She has it in her mind, just like when she was with us before and after she got taken away, that if she acts a fool hard enough and does enough stuff, she'll get her way. In some ways, she'll get her way. I believe that she needs to be in a better placement with more structure and somewhere where she can actually benefit.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there anything else that needs to come in front of the court at this time?
No, ma'am, not from the department.
Then at this time, the court is going to make the following findings. The court is going to continue the temporary managing conservatorship of the department, as well as the possessory conservatorship of each of the parents. The court is going to find that neither parent has demonstrated adequate or appropriate compliance with their family service plan. And Ms. McLean, I know you had some issues with that before. How I view it is it's all got to be done, completed. I know, and you are in the process and you're ongoing. And so Thank you for that.
Yep.
In addition, I'm going to continue and keep those family service plans. The court is going to waive the appearance of Mackenzie today. The court has serious concerns about the placement. This child was placed at the ranch before, and we are exhibiting the same behaviors that we had some before. The court is very concerned that she went from November the 18th of 2022 without a prescribed inhaler. And the court is concerned that regarding, as Ms. Linda indicated, the supervision and the therapy. And I am extremely concerned at the lack of response that To Engage has received regarding their concerns. I am also concerned about, about the current medication regime and just the sheer number of medications that this child is on. So this is what's going to happen. I'm going to order I'm not going to find that this placement is in her best interest, because it has been apparent from all of the testimony from all of the parties that this is not in the child's best interest. I cannot order a placement, but I am going to order a change of placement. And the department is on notice that they need to make sure that there is a change of placement no later than June the 30th. That will get her through this school year and give you time to find a new location. And if there needs to be a new psychiatric or anything that needs to be done, I will certainly order that to facilitate placement. The fact that you have been reaching out since April the 28th and not been able or getting a response and not getting information in a timely manner is against their contract, and it's not in the child's best interest. And ultimately, it is the To Engage in the department that has legal custody of this child, not the ranch. So you please let your placement people know that this change needs to occur. In addition, the court is going to continue the child service plan. The court does find that the current plan is still family reunification, and the court is going to order a new psychological evaluation for Mr. Hilt and a new substance evaluation for Mr. Hilt, as has been requested. Mr. Hilt, if you will provide that codeine prescription to Ms. Columbus so that she can have a record of that. And yes, if you will update her on your new emailing address or email address. There was an issue with an email address. Apparently one had been updated, but it had not made it to the court. I want to remind both you, Mr. Hilt and Ms. McLean, that you're under a court order to keep the court, not only Ms. Columbus, but the court updated of any email changes, because that email address is where you get all of the information that's been filed with the court. So yes, I noticed your email, Mr. Hilt. I don't know if that needs to be changed or not at this point, but I am going to order both you and Ms. McLean to speak with Ms. Columbus after this hearing and confirm what email address you want used for court proceedings. The next time that we're in a courtroom setting is September the 6th of 2023 at 9:30. I am going to set this for a final hearing as required by law, and that is set for October the 4th. of 2023, and we have just lost Miss Nora. I'm going to start speaking very, very fast so we can get this in without losing any more people.
Maybe Miss Nora's chair broke again.
And so at this point in time, I am going to, I do want a med review, and I understand that that might happen at a change of placement. And I do need, this child isn't an RTC, should be receiving weekly, if not twice a week therapy. So Ms. Columbus, I'm assuming that either you or your supervisor will be filing a complaint on the concerns that you've had regarding the ranch. I'm going to leave the, Mr. Hilt, as you are aware, my policy in this court is as long as you drug test, visitation is not bound on the results of the drug test, just the fact that you are testing. And so I am going to reinstate supervision with Mackenzie, and you can speak with Ms. Columbus about who, what, when, where, and how. And Ms. McLean, your visitation with Ms. Mackenzie is not in lieu of therapy. So Ms. Columbus, if you'll speak with Ms. McLean and make sure that those are two separate items. And so if you will follow through with that. I need to let both of you know that at this point in time, you both have the right to request a court-appointed attorney at any given time. However, as we've discussed before, it's a two-step process. One, you have to be opposed to what the department is doing. And two, you have to meet the financial requirements. At today's hearing, y'all both indicated that y'all are in agreement with continuing to work the services and that Mackenzie needs to stay, at least needs treatment to help address her mental health. If at any time y'all change y'all's mind, then y'all can always request a court-appointed attorney, and we'll take that up at any given time. I need to let you know this, and I've told you every time, it's not a threat. I'm required by law to let you know. If you're unable to provide Mackenzie with a safe and stable home environment, your parental rights can be restricted or terminated. I want you both to be aware that I understand not only do you both have work to do, but Mackenzie has work to do as well. And so I am quite cognizant of the fact that it's all three of y'all, and I certainly appreciate you starting your services, Mr. Hilt and Ms. McLean. You're getting those set up. Best of luck to you in your apartments. Hopefully, it's not near a train track or airplane.
I couldn't hear. I'm so sorry.
And good luck to you, Mr. Hilt. I certainly hope that you land in a stable location soon. Is there anything else that needs to be addressed at this time?
Yes,
are you asking for a med review by a specific date, or you're just going to wait till the placement changes?
If they can do a med review before June 1st, but I doubt it, I would prefer that. I am concerned about the quantity of medications that she is on.
Would it be fair to put in the order that the court prefers a med review by June 1st, 2023, but if not available at the time of change of placement?
Yes, but no later than July 30th.
Yes, ma'am. I've got it. Thank you, ma'am. That was my only clarification.
And Ms. Ladd, anything I need to clarify?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Linda, for bringing that information. And thank you for your work on this case. I know you have put a lot of time and effort in this, and I appreciate that. And hopefully these will get us a better place. And because, like I said, Mackenzie deserves it. She needs, just like Mr. Hilt and Ms. McLean, you need all the tools in your tool chest that you can get. So does she. And so thank you for helping me assure that this happens.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Linda, was there something else you wanted to add?
Thank you very much. And I appreciate it on Mackenzie's behalf.
Thank you. I think this has been a very glitchy Zoom, so I'm going to let everyone go while we all started together. It looks like we'll all finish together on the Zoom, but best of luck to you, everyone. Thank you, everyone.